Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Lewis Basketball Network. It is your boy Lewis, and I'm back with another one, with another banger, with yet another video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video. Make sure to share this video, man. It only helps the channel grow. I truly appreciate it. So what I'm going to start with, ladies and gentlemen, is this narrative that Steph Curry was never in the conversation for the best player, and he was, but then he fell off. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a series of videos that's going to prove what these guys have been trying to hide with this narrative because of Kevin Durant. So Tim Legs, the true LeGoat, is going to break down an analysis that's going to show you how important and how influential Steph Curry is in the game on his Warriors team, and why he is the undoubted leader of the Warriors in terms of complete. I would say Draymond is the leader of the defense, and he's the vocal quarterback of the defense. But why does the offense flow so well, and why did the Warriors have fun playing together? It's because of this man that you see right here with a full set of hair and a grown man's beard. Still in my beard right there, but it's all good, Steph. I appreciate it, man. I guess you were looking at the beard that I had and said, I want to be just like Lou. Truly appreciate it, man. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the video.
Gotta stay locked in. The Warriors enjoying their longest break since last September. 10 days between games. We got Tim Legler here to talk us through what this offense has become. We know Steph Curry was an MVP in 2015 and 2016. They bring in KD and the offense shifted. Now it's kind of shifted back. Take us through what they're doing, Lex.
Yeah, first, before I start this, I want to preface this by saying I'm not one of those people that says this team is better without Kevin Durant. Okay? They're equally great.
Did you hear what he just said? What he just said was, he said that Kevin Durant, they're still great with Kevin Durant. He's not one of those casuals that's going to say that the Warriors are better without KD just because they're trying to push some narrative that KD should leave the Golden State Warriors. I'm on record as saying, I said that the Warriors play a much better, they play a different system when Kevin Durant is not there. They play more isolation and run their plays to KD when KD's on the floor. That's the difference. Both of them are dominant ways to play, and that can win a championship, especially with the way this Golden State team is constructed from the starting lineup with your best players. But one shows a little bit more movement. The other one is a little more stagnant. That's just the difference. Now, Tim Legler is going to break down two different scenarios, one with KD and without KD, and you're going to see the difference in the style of play.
It's just different how they operate, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So we start this play, and I'll stop it right here. It's very important because you're going to see on the second play why this matters. 9 seconds on the shot clock. They've already started to run a play.
Notice that.
In Warrior world, when Durant's not on the floor, is an eternity. A lot of stuff can happen.
Notice that anytime when the Warriors play and they're down by a lot in most games, it's like time is an eternity for them because of their ability to score it. And they come hit you with an explosion. So they can explode for points so fast. And you're like, there's a little bit of time left. And next, you know, Warriors are down 3, down 2. They tie the game, but they take the lead. That's how explosive their offense is, because they got guys who can make plays and they got guys who can score in bunches. You got 3 of the greatest shooters on one team that can score in bunches at any time in the game. That's how special they are.
You had a second. So with this much time on the clock, first thing you need to notice is this. Kevin Durant is basically disengaged because he's an ISO player and he wants to be up here now. So Steph Curry would love to have Kevin Durant maybe operate in this area of the floor, because with 9 seconds left, maybe you can hit here, right?
So notice the play that he's talking about, because Curry wants to have movement, so he's got the ball. Notice when Kevin Durant is usually in an ISO situation, he usually likes to stand at the top of the three-point line, usually on the left or right wing. In this play, it's on the left wing. So what Curry would love for Kevin Durant to do is he would basically cut. So like I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, what he wants to do is he wants to cut. Curry would love for him to cut to the left. Then that way, if he would get the ball back, it would allow Curry to either curl to the right side. There could be a back screen right by Draymond Green or by Klay Thompson. And once that happens, then so like I was saying, so then what happens is that then that backs, so then KD could either go this way, so then Klay Thompson could either set a screen, or Draymond could set a screen where Klay Thompson can curl, and then possibly Curry can curl back. And then that way there's going to be a lot more movement. But watch what happens.
You do your split action with Klay Thompson where you go over, set a screen,
right?
Klay curls.
Exactly. He can curl inside. He could go.
Maybe hit this cutter. These guys would get involved.
Another thing that Tim didn't mention is he could also either curl here, or what he could do is if they come to double Curry, Klay Thompson can actually slide to the right side. And so let's say that they go try to get on Clay. That could actually bring Draymond to come and cut this way. And as we can see, there's Iguodala, Lehman, Lumen right there. So they have actually more options. This is one of their design plays. But even if they cut those guys off, you still got Draymond who could cut to the basket for an easy one, or even Iguodala, or even he could come back, space back, and they could pass it to him for the open three. So this design play gives you options. But watch what Kevin Durant does.
There's a lot of time with 9 seconds to win
A lot of time.
But not if Kevin Durant's going to stand out here. And even when Curry gives it up, like he wants to come set a ball screen.
See, that's the thing. And that's what Curry does, his intangibles that nobody talks about. Sets a ball. He wants to set a ball screen by giving it to Durant. But watch what Kevin Durant does. And remember, 9 seconds, plenty of time on the rock. When he gives him the ball, look, 7 seconds remaining. Watch what Tim Legler explains here, ladies and gentlemen.
Like, let's engage. Durant doesn't even want that. So what you
Exactly.
end up with is Curry just comes over here, relocates. You see his body language even. Doesn't look that thrilled about it.
Yeah, see, Curry just like put his hand on that. We could have run a better set play, better action, but instead Kevin Durant wants to go one-on-one and watch what
In a
happens.
one-on-one situation, this isn't taking a shot at Kevin Durant, but that's what he specializes in.
That's just one play, but it's just basically telling you like it's a dominant style of play for KD because that's the type of play that better suits him. Now remember, he was playing great when the Warriors. If you notice how much they played team ball in the finals against the Cavaliers and how KD was moving, cutting, playing without the ball. And I'm saying that the Warriors are more dangerous when Kevin Durant plays with the flow within the offense and takes less shots. I told you in 2018, he had the quietest 33 points I had ever seen. Steph Curry got all the attention with the 9 threes he hit, but the brother was 10 of 14 from the field on 14 shots. And I've said Kevin Durant is very dangerous. Yeah, he could score, he could take over a game, but he's the most efficient ever with this team. He got 33 points on 14 shots. Just a thought.
That's what that looks like. Now, let's take a look at...
Now watch the difference, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so first Steph, look what he draws. Immediately, you wall up 3 guys.
Is it me or Tim Legler should be coaching the Lakers? I mean, I think that the Lakers will be a killer fast break team, and I honestly think that they'd be running much better plays. But that would be if LeBron can force himself to play off the ball, which I don't think he can. And he's going to say, well, Legs, who are you? You never coach. I'm not going to respect you. But I would respect Legs because he knows his basketball. Led the league in three-point shooting in 1996, ladies and gentlemen. 52.2% for those who don't know.
Watch the movement. Starts on the right side of the floor, and I want you to notice something here.
And he knows the type of the team that they are because he knows how much of a shooter Steph Curry is. So he pretty much knows. And for those who were saying that Tim Legler was saying how the Houston Rockets were going to beat the Warriors and how Portland was going to beat them without Kevin Durant, that was Paul Pierce, and that was Charles Barkley, and that was Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, those guys. Tim Legler said that they still had a chance to win because they can go back to their style of play. And Tim was proven right. Tim was right. Tim was right the whole time. This is why he's the GOAT. GOAT. The true GOAT.
Non-shooters on the floor. That's important because these are minutes that are taken up that maybe Durant's on the floor. These are guys that are not going to look to score.
Remember, Steve Kerr was forced to play those guys once Kevin Durant was injured. And these guys are a product of the system. They play so well together because that's what the system brings. They are the modern-day San Antonio Spurs. They can plug in guys to play within the system as long as their core stars are there. And look how much production they're getting because of how well they've been playing.
Encourages Steph Curry to continue to run throughout the possession.
Watch Steph Curry move the entire possession. Watch.
He knows
gives it up.
This is a non-shooter. So now
Kayvon Looney with the ball. Watch what Curry does.
Continue to run. Comes all the way over to this corner.
He's going to curl.
Continue the action.
Go, slide.
Now stop. Remember what I said before how much time is left on the clock?
Look, 9 seconds. Just like the last possession with the Clippers in the last video.
Steph Curry's in this corner. Steph Curry's going to continue all the way to this side of the floor.
Now watch what Curry does. Look how he runs.
Off of another screen. He ran another dribble handoff in there and a reversal. And he comes through.
Pump fake. Shoots it. Bam.
That's how much more you can get done the way they move the ball and the way that he runs without it. And Klay Thompson, you could throw in that category as well, but although I've never seen a guy run as much as Curry does without the ball. So that's the difference between the two styles. Again, equally dominant. I think both can win a championship. It just looks a little bit different.
Okay.
That's exactly what I was saying, ladies and gentlemen. That's the difference. That both guys, again, equally dominant offenses, but the difference is that one is a little bit more stagnant. Not saying that KD is not, like I said, he's not a great player because Kevin Durant, I said, is the best player in the world. I did say that. But it just tells you Steph Curry's influence on this roster when he stays in constant motion, and especially when the ball are given to non-shooters. That's what I've been trying to explain this whole time, ladies and gentlemen, and it tells you how important Steph Curry is to this team. That's what I keep telling these cats, and they don't want to understand. And Tim Legler, my man Legs the GOAT, broke it down perfectly. This is exactly what I've been talking about, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I was talking about. True basketball heads know right there, man. So once again, this is your boy Lewis, man, and I will be back with another video from the conversation with Nick Wright and with Charles Barkley and with Chris Carter on is Steph Curry in the best player conversation. So I will be right back. Take care, guys. Enjoy the
all out in the finals, and I will reevaluate. But I'm sorry, until then, 4 players are better than him only because AD missed the playoffs, then it would be 5. LeBron, Kawhi, KD, and the Freak.
Well, first of all, you don't get to sit up there and change the question to your own narrative. You gave us a top 5. Here's your problem. We didn't ask for your top 5. The question was the world's best player conversation. And that's what it comes down to. It could be top 5, it could be top 10. You can look at it any way you want to. You can look at it based on position. One of the things that we talk about, Max, when we talk about the Mount Rushmore of basketball, we talk about Bill Russell. We talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Guys like that. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had the sky hook. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, because it was the one unstoppable move that we've ever seen in NBA history, the man had over 38,000 points, all-time leading scorer. He's a 6-time champion, 19-time All-Star. We can't have a conversation about the best in the world without him being in it. Him and Steph Curry are 2 entirely different players who impact the game in entirely different ways, okay? So you can't just look at it like that and look at your top 5 or whatever. I know Kawhi, LeBron, KD, and all of those guys on its face are better than Steph because obviously they're more formidable defensively than Steph Curry. But let's appreciate the fact that this guy is worthy of being in a best player in the world conversation because of the impact that he has. This same dude who, by the way, was injured the year you're talking about, he choked in the postseason. The bottom line is this: career averages in the postseason. Career averages.
Tell him, Stephen A.
Said and done, 26 and 6 on 45% shooting from the field, 40% shooting from 3-point range. Now, those are actually worse numbers than what he does in the regular season percentage-wise. That's a legitimate argument. But he's a 3-time champion. He's en route to a 3-peat, meaning his 4th title. He's been to 4 consecutive NBA Finals.
How many NBA Finals MVPs?
He has 0. He has 0. I understand that, which is why.
You see what Max does? He does the same thing with Kobe Bryant all the time, talking about that's his first thing. He's like, he just mentioned his career postseason numbers, and it's funny. Steph has balled out in 3 of the 4 NBA Finals, but Max Kellerman, like the mofo that he is, wants to go and already go with the Finals MVPs. Kind of the same thing he kind of does with Kobe in terms of he only has 2 Finals MVPs and all this kind of stuff. You see? He just shows you how much of a bona fide hater he is because his LeBron slurp nuts looking self can't stand the fact that the Warriors are preventing his boo from winning championships. Again, I present to you the La 3-6 Mafia.
Time out. Wait a minute. Don't change the argument. I didn't.
Wow. So Steph Curry's averaged 26. He averaged 22 in 2016. That was his worst finals. 27, 9, and 8. And 26, 8, and 7. I wonder how that's choking. 2015, he should have been Finals MVP. 2018, I don't agree because that one game killed him. Other than that, he probably would have won it if it wasn't for that one bad game.
Say he's the best player in the world. We're talking about whether he's worthy of being in a conversation because of the impact that he has. I remember one.
You see what then? This is what Max does, continues to move the goalposts. I mean, Steph Curry never left the conversation. It's just these pundits have kept over-glorifying Kevin Durant so much that all of a sudden that Steph Curry's underrated. That was never the case, ladies and gentlemen. This is just a bunch of nonsense to try to discredit what Steph Curry's done for the game and the foundation that him, along with the other players that were drafted there, you know, have what made the Warriors as special as they are. I mean, think about that. He may not have the Finals MVPs, but come on, man. This is his 5th straight NBA Finals. He's already been there. He's won 3 championships and is a 2-time regular season MVP. I get the Finals is where it matters the most because it defines your legacy in terms of winning. But winning will enhance it. But his legacy is set in stone.
Time I said to you, look at LeBron James. You know something, Max, that I can't ignore? Something as simple as free throws. Steph Curry's shooting 90% from the free throw line. LeBron James is in the low 70s. I'm talking about.
When you
what I'm saying to you is that there are different ways to impact a game. And when it comes with shooting the basketball or his mere...
This is how I categorize Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James. LeBron James, the most dominant. KD, arguably the most skilled and the most polarizing player since Kobe Bryant. Steph Curry, the best leader of the three and the most influential, along with his intangibles and his skills.
Message on the court that spreads the floor and opens things up for everybody because he's a threat literally from the moment he walks past half court.
He's a revolutionary player and a great player, and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. You have the nerve to bring up Bill Russell in the same sense as Steph Curry? Bill Russell played in...
See what I'm saying? That annoyed me right there.
Bill Russell played in 21 deciding games in his career amateur pro.
You see what he just did? Why is he bringing up other players when the conversation is about Steph Curry being the best player in the world? And Max continues to try to allude to his NBA Finals and his postseason career. When Steph Curry, he may not shoot the ball great, but you forget, who do defenses key on in the postseason? I asked you again, ladies and gentlemen, who do they focus on? If they didn't focus on Steph Curry and he would be missing a lot of shots, then I can understand that, especially if the offense was running through Curry. But the offense isn't running through Curry like before because of the Kevin Durant, because of the ISO heavy offense that they've done with Kevin Durant. I don't get why people don't understand that. And look, at now Max is bringing up Bill Russell. Did you hear Stephen A. said Bill Russell? Because I didn't hear it.
I've only made the point that it's two completely different positions and you affect the game in two completely different ways. That's the only reason I brought that up.
Ridiculous.
Okay, let's define what we're really talking about. I think to say, is he in the best player in the world conference?
Do you have any idea what you're talking about? Because you're making absolutely no sense.
You can make a credible argument that he's the best player in the world. I don't think you can do that with Steph. Offensively, he's in the argument. He's nowhere to be found. Defense, he tries to play defense. I like the way...
You know what's so funny about you, Max? LeBron James choked in the 2011 finals, arguably the biggest meltdown of any superstar in NBA history, with the amount of level of standard that a lot of you media pundits put on LeBron. But then when he can't live up to it, you make excuses for him. Now that's because Steph Curry choked in the 2016 finals. Oh, now he can't be in the best player conversation because of the series he choked? Because after... And then also you go, well, Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, they can't win MVPs because they play together. Didn't LeBron win back-to-back MVPs with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh? Two players in his same draft class in the top 5, two perennial all-star, all-NBA players. You see how you continue to move the goalposts? This is why I continue to expose your ass.
Steph tries to play defense. He's just not capable of playing it at a very high level. So
Listen, Steph is a very capable defender. He's a good defender. His defense kind of reminds me a lot of Larry Bird. He's very good positioning. He anticipates really well. And you know he could win back-to-back MVPs, but that's okay for LeBron. If it's okay for LeBron to do it, then it should be for Curry and Durant to do it. They could be the best players in the world, even if they play together. LeBron was able to accomplish that, and nobody's made a big deal about it. But you're making it a big deal because he can't win championships and dominate the era like you thought he was going to. LeBron looked over his shoulder and said, yo, Steph is doing great, man. I cheer for you at Davidson, but I never saw you as a threat to, be the best player in the game and win championships on my expense. It was the same. The way LeBron is looking at Steph is how Magic Johnson looked at Isaiah Thomas. He didn't think Isaiah Thomas would one day be in the finals and be challenging him for championships. Because if you guys remember, the 88 and 89 Pistons met the Lakers in the finals back-to-back years. And people question Magic. Are you going to attack him knowing that you guys are friends? Are you going to be aggressive? Are you going to foul him hard if he drives to the basket? Are you going to play against him, or are you going to treat him as a friend and not really go at him and compete against him? Which is why Chris Paul is so salty, because he also didn't think that Steph would be in the running for the best point guard in the league. And ladies and gentlemen, Steph Curry is the best point guard in the league. I've said it once, I said it many times, and I'm saying it again.
Offensively, there are other players just as good as him. Defensively, he's not in their class, and he's choked in the finals. So the answer is you cannot make the argument that he's the best player in the world. So he's not in the best.
If he chokes in the finals, that means that he has consistently choked in the finals. I don't see how 26, 5, and 6 is choking
on 44%, 38% from three, and 88% from the free throw line. I don't see that as choking. Maybe his numbers are more down, but once again, I'm going to ask you again, who do people focus on in the playoffs? Cut the head off the snake. That's what Steph Curry is. He is the engine. He is the system. People are going to focus on shutting down Curry. If he impacts the game with his three-point shooting, it's going to open a lot of things up on the offensive end. And like I said, he may have slow feet on defense. He may not have the lateral quickness. He doesn't have the build, but he uses his body very well. He gets into passing lanes as well. He positions himself very well. He positions himself when he's able to with his feet. So he has very good IQ on the defensive end. It's underrated. He's not the best defender, and he never will be. He probably might not make an all-defensive team. But the difference between him and James Harden is Steph Curry plays with effort on defense. James Harden doesn't. And people overrate him so much because of his offense. But he's not even a two-way player, which is sad.
Player of the world argument.
I don't think he's choked in the finals, A.
He didn't. Max is a straight-up hater and a liar.
Skyhook. What could Kareem do on the perimeter? Nothing. What I'm saying to you is there's different ways to impact the game, and that's what I take into consideration. Even when Steph Curry is not quote-unquote at his best, because his presence has such magnitude attached to it. I'm
going to say it again. Leadership and the most influential, along with his intangibles, make Curry a very, very unique player. And he's a revolutionary player because, as Austin Rivers said, his brother-in-law, Steph Curry has got little kids now wanting to shoot three-pointers. Now, whether that's good or bad for the game, that's your opinion. But what the bottom line is, Curry has impacted the game. He's changed the game. Why do you think teams are building up to shoot the three ball? Why do you think teams have been building up to catch up to the Warriors style of play? People have been building their teams again to try to dethrone the Golden State Warriors because of their run of excellence. The league was not up to them when they were dominating the league up until now. And even then, so the Warriors are still the best team in the NBA. How long is this going to last? We don't know. We don't know. But one thing is for sure, this is the influence in the game that Curry's had. And the crazy part about it is nobody saw this coming.
Looking at how his presence affects other players. I'm looking at other players who are formidable offensively, and all of a sudden they go against Steph Curry, and they're petrified to make a mistake because they know he'll make you pay. I look at things like that.
I hear you're arguing about his impact on the floor, and also, by the way, his impact beyond the floor, his impact on the game of basketball. But Max has clearly said he's not in the best player conversation because, according to Max's definition, he's fifth. And
But if you're a top 5 player, doesn't that put you in the conversation for best player in the world? Will Kane makes no damn sense neither. See, these guys should start talking basketball right now.
Conversation goes 3 deep. You rattled off, Stephen A. Kawhi, KD, LeBron. Where exactly is Steph in your conversation? Because I want to know how deep your conversation goes.
I don't think about Steph Curry in terms of the way I look at those other guys. Like, for example, when you had Jordan or you had the Pippins of the world of people like that, your size, your ability, your athleticism, how formidable you are, all
so you
of
don't
these
rank
things come into
players?
play. I look at Steph Curry as a point guard. Isaiah Thomas.
Here, let's do it another way.
Hold on.
Let's do it
Isaiah
another
Thomas, hold on. Isaiah Thomas was one of the great guards we'd ever seen. But because
Curry kind of low-key reminds me of Isaiah Thomas to some degree in terms of like Isaiah Thomas, like Curry, they were scoring point guards. Isaiah learned how to be more of a facilitator. Well, there was one year, I think, where Isaiah Thomas averaged nearly close to 13 assists one year, but that was when he was getting his individual numbers. And he learned how to be more of a traditional point guard and be a floor general. Mark Jackson was trying to do that with Steph Curry. Curry's never averaged 10 assists in a season. When Steve Kerr came with the offense that they run, Steph Curry's assists actually went down. But when Mark Jackson was doing the whole ISO-heavy offense, which at times could be stagnant, Steph Curry actually averaged 24 points with 8 assists and shot nearly 48% from the field in 2014. So he was actually starting to like really do a good job, and his assist-to-turnover ratio was actually one of the best in the game. It's just his assists have gone down due to the fact that we get the hockey assist, which is everybody moves the ball, everybody touches the ball, everybody eats, as I always have said, and you get the assist. But yeah, Steph Curry, definitely in the best player conversation, always has been. It's just these guys, like I said, pick and choose their narratives as to who they prefer. Because he choked in one finals, he can't be in the conversation. But LeBron James choked the finals in history for the expectations that he put on himself and the league put and the fans and the media put on the Heat, and he failed so miserably. I mean, people are going to say, well, Curry holds more weight because he had a 3-1 lead in the NBA Finals. I'm not saying that that holds more weight, but remember what happened with LeBron James. He went on TV to make a 1-hour decision on ESPN. Everything was televised. He played the role of the villain. People predicted the Miami Heat to win 70 games. People want to kind of make the excuse, well, they didn't get it done in year one. I get all that, but they were the favorites against the Dallas Mavericks. And the fact that you averaged 17.8 points per game, 5th best scorer in the NBA Finals. Oh, my God, Alexa. Oh, my goodness. You know, it is what it is, but, you know, this is what I'm talking about. You know? So, yeah.
Of his miniature size and stature, we call him the greatest small guard of all time. We don't put him in the greatest player conversation because his physicality alone comes with limitations.
Okay, but whatever. It's not fair. It's not pound for pound like boxing. Here's the way to do it. Who's the best player in the world according to you right now?
KD?
And if he didn't exist, who would be the best player in the world according to you right now?
Probably LeBron.
So that's your number 2, etc. If you keep doing that, when do you get to Steph?
When do we get to Iverson?
Not at 1 or 2. Currently. We're talking about currently, though. Now.
No. What I'm trying to say to you is this. When you have
What is Stephen A. talking about?
The pound for pound does matter. It does matter.
Okay, if we were talking pound...
Pound for pound, AI is one of the greatest offensive players in history. His field goal percentage may not say that, but at his small frame, at 6 foot, 165 pounds, he dominated the game. On top of that, you know, he led the league in steals, I think, once, if not twice. And also, when it comes to influence, AI is actually one of the most influential one of the most underrated influential players in NBA history because of the hip hop culture he brought his realism to the NBA. Like, he was himself. He wasn't trying to be anybody else. He he never changed for anybody. AI is one of the most influential players that doesn't get enough credit and talked about in NBA history. You know, and what's so crazy is people accepted him for who he was. And all he did was just go in and night out and play hard. So, but this is about best player conversation. We're not, if we were saying most influential, he would definitely be there. But best player is what we're talking about for today.
Pound, I suppose you'd have to give it to Steph, right? Or Isaiah Thomas, not the Hall of Famer, right? Like you have to give it to the best short player you can find.
We got to leave it here. I mean, I will say this, Max. We went after Stephen A., but by your own standards, you put Giannis ahead of Steph, and Giannis, as much as I love him,
Here's my problem with putting Giannis ahead of Steph. Giannis is better defensively because of his length and his wingspan. Offensively, Steph is better than Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis is he's a LeBron with no jump shot. He's a LeBron with no jump shot in terms of his ability to drive. Yeah, he plays within the offense, don't get me wrong, and he passes the ball. What I'm just saying is that Giannis is not a consistent jump shooter, and until he gets a consistent jump shooter, and even with this, LeBron made jump shots when he first came into the NBA. Like, he took jump shots. But what I'm saying in terms of comparing Giannis to LeBron is he tries to get to the rim at will. Recognizes a mismatch, he goes to the rim at will and drives and tries to post up when he has mismatches. And it's through movement. So right now, Budenholzer's system, it will get exposed. Well, no, Giannis will get exposed against the right matchup. And when Kawhi guarding Giannis, he's giving Giannis problems. And if Budenholzer doesn't make adjustments, I can see the Milwaukee Bucks losing to the Toronto Raptors, especially if those bench players start to get their confidence back.
doesn't have the bona fides even close to what
Max
Steph
has Giannis. Max has Giannis ahead of KD.
No, not at the moment. Not at the moment.
But the disrespect to
Not
Steph
at
with
the
2
moment.
MVPs, unanimous MVP.
What do you mean not at the moment?
We
You
know
just
he
said
changes
this
it.
last week.
No, I told you
change it day to day.
I do based on the
So you see how he flip-flops, ladies and gentlemen? KD is better than Giannis Antetokounmpo. People need to stop it. Giannis may be a better defender right now than KD, and KD's actually playing pretty good defense, pretty underrated defense, but KD's a better overall player than Giannis. Really, people need to stop it right now.
I said
This
this playoff series will determine the best player in
Between
the world.
Giannis and
I gotta go.
Kawhi. But you
Because
said
they're
he
writing
better
the
than
script.
Giannis and Kawhi will be best player in the Eastern Conference. Kevin Durant is still the best player in the NBA. Stop it. Stop it, Max. Stop it right now.
Now. All right. But by the way, fair point about Giannis. The jury is out.
So now we're going to get Charles Barkley's thoughts on Steph Curry being back in the best player conversation. Take it away, Chuck. Take it away, fellas. Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon.
Early member of the Bald Brotherhood and Emmy Award winner 10, 15 times, Charles Barkley. Because we love you, we're going to play a small clip here. When Kevin Durant got hurt, you had some interesting comments. You won't see it, but you'll hear it. Can we play those, please?
They're not going to beat the Rockets without KD. And they're not going to be Portland or Denver without KD.
All right, so
Been sipping that Paul Pierce. It's over after an injury or after game one happens. Charles Barkley, man, this dude says this because he hates the Golden State Warriors. Man, he hates what they are only because he wasn't successful in his career with a championship ring. And I said it before and I'll say it again. He played on a jump shooting team in the Phoenix Suns. I love Charles Barkley. Great personality. Says what he feels. But you know, it's just he was wrong about this one. And every single time he says it, he continues to be proven wrong. I mean, so like I was saying, I mean, it's just, you know, this is why he just has this thing. Well, let's hear what he has to say, though.
because again, we love you. What have you got to say for yourself as they have moved on?
Well, listen, nothing but kudos. First of all, I was 100% wrong, but kudos to the Golden
At least I give him the honesty. I give him credit for being honest, at least. Like, a lot of guys in the media don't want to own up to their mistakes.
State Warriors, and the two things strike me. Steph Curry has put his name back in the conversation, Tony.
My question is, when did he ever leave? That's just because of how you guys went up to Kevin Durant so much and how he was carrying the Warriors. But I said it was because they were relying on his style of play. And like I said, Tim Legler said it best this morning. They're both dominant in terms of styles of play. It's just different. But they were struggling more because, again, it was easier to defend them because how they went ISO and everybody could stand still more around. But again, who are they going to focus on? It's Steph Curry. No disrespect to KD, and I already said it. He is the best player in the world.
We talk about the best players in the world. We talk about KD, Giannis, Kawhi, LeBron. Steph Curry's proven to us he's a two-time MVP. He's been fabulous. But I want to give a shout-out to Steve Kerr and his coaching staff because they got guys on the bench who have come in the game, going back to Game 6 against Houston, and played fabulous. And that's the coaching staff. It lets me know when they're not playing games, they're working with those young players. So those are two things that stood out to me during this 4-game winning streak against the Blazers and beating the Rockets in Game 6.
Charles, you liked Portland all year, and even this week, they had double-digit leads in the last 3 games. I mean, clearly they weren't scared of the Warriors.
This is what I'm talking about. The Portland Trailblazers, with all due respect to them, they were to me a 6th seed in my opinion. Yeah, they ended up the 3rd seed, but that was because both the Rockets and the Thunder had late tailspins at the end of the season where they didn't play well, and it allowed the Blazers to. Look at Chuck. He looked like he want to sleep and dream nothing about Krispy Kremes right now. Could have some Krispy Kreme donuts.
But they couldn't close. What did you see? Why couldn't they close any of those games out?
Mike, I'm not going to lie to you. I was very disappointed in the Trailblazers. I picked them to get to the finals. To have 3 double-digits leads and lose those games, that can't happen. But what's more disappointing...
3 double-digit lose. Here's my thing with the Portland Trailblazers, man. No disrespect to them. They're a very good team. But I always felt that, like I said, they were a 6th seed, and for the reasons I mentioned just a little bit earlier. The issue I have with them is they can't rely on Dame and CJ with their high-so every offense because of their coach to actually prefer to win. They're undersized guards. They really lack a very good power forward who can get baskets and defend, or a small forward who could defend and get buckets. They're missing that to take the pressure off of them, and they don't move the ball. And if you look at what Miles Leonard did with the 30 points and 15 rebounds and 4 blocks, Dame and CJ low-key took him out of the game by trying to play hero ball. And it's what I said before. Hero ball is not good against high IQ teams unless the circumstances and matchups are in your favor to have that style of play to go against a team. And even without Nurkic, they blew 3 double-digit leads. And what I was getting mad about is how after Game 3, the report came out that Dame had a separated rib. Now, I'm not saying that Damian Lillard's hurt. I mean, he was in one sense, but he was still chucking up 30-foot bombs. On top of the fact that then after Game 4, then he was saying, well, if we had Nurkic, things would have been different. So that's what kind of telling me is that now Dame is kind of making excuses along with the media as to why they couldn't beat the Golden State Warriors. But it was like I was saying before, the Blazers in the Western Conference Finals, it was tailor-made for the Golden State Warriors to win. And even then, so I picked the Blazers to win. They possibly could have been up 3-1, but they got swept because they did a poor job in the second half in terms of running their offense. And the fourth quarter, they just took a lot of ill-advised shots, and their defense was really not great. It was good when they had the double-digit lead, but they never were able to finish it. And the defense in the second half has killed them. And that's why I said that in the 3 double-digit leads in 3 straight games that they blew, in Game 3 alone, they blew 3 double-digit leads, that their inability to defend really hurt them a lot in those second halves. And so that's why I said that Portland Trailblazers once again shows you, even though they made a deep playoff run, and I respect it, and they honestly really overachieved, this is a fool's gold team. They have bigs, but there's still something missing for me to really say that they're contenders. And I'm going to say it once again, ladies and gentlemen, the Denver Nuggets may have not beaten Golden State, but in my opinion, with the depth that they had and that big Jokic, who would have been an issue for Draymond Green, the Nuggets were the better matchup, especially without KD and Boogie.
Concerning to me is them getting swept.
And those guards, man.
The one thing I'm very proud of, I never got swept in a 4-game series. You got to have guys on your team, at least one guy said, we're not going to get swept. You can lose a series, but you can never get swept. That tells me there's some stuff going on that they're not mentally tough enough.
Charles, you and I, of course, are here in Toronto for tonight's
That's another thing.
Game 4 with Bucks and Raptors. Can you see for a second straight game Toronto's defense with all that double teaming, led by Kawhi Leonard, keeping Giannis having a mediocre game again tonight? Do you see it happening again?
Well, I think it's going to be interesting tonight because of the double overtime game. Kawhi looks like he's a little injured to me. The Raptors do not have the depth to compete with the Bucks. I think it's going to be very...
And even though this video is about Steph Curry and the best player conversation, I just want to say this real quick. The Raptors do have the depth. The issue is Nick Nurse. And the issue is, are the Raptors confident enough to beat the Milwaukee Bucks? Because if you look at it, both teams have not had the slight advantage. And there's ways that the Raptors can actually expose the Bucks if the coach would actually pay attention to detail. But he's so worried about playing his starters minutes and just does a poor job with his coaching that he honestly probably could have had the advantage. And quite honestly, either team could have had the advantage, because we've had 2 close games. We had a double overtime Game 3 and an 8-point win by the Bucks in Game 1. And then Games 2 and 4 were blowouts. So quite honestly, man, it's it's looking really crazy right now.
Interesting how they come back physically from a double overtime game.
So, and that was just for Game 4 purposes. So I'm going to come back and tell you.
Conversation, and it's not a knock on Steph Curry, who is the great.
Wow, says the guy who was talking about how the Boston Celtics were going to be an NBA Finals opponent and Kyrie was going to get it together. And it was so crazy. Paul Pierce, it was over after Game 1. Chris Mannix was all talking all this. And here's the thing, man. Chris Mannix, I'm sorry, but Steph is definitely in the conversation. You guys are just trying to look at it as because he choked in a finals that Steph Curry's not in the conversation, or he doesn't really measure up to those other players. Like I said, Steph is a point guard. If you compare the other players, Kawhi Leonard, 2-way small forward. Kevin Durant, 2-way small forward. LeBron James at one point was a 2-way small forward. Giannis Antetokounmpo, possibly a 2-way small forward. All of these guys are 6'8" and big and tall and bigger, at the very least. Steph Curry, 6'3". And he impacts the game offensively and has much more influence than any of those players you mentioned. He may not be the best defender, but he tries on defense. That's why he definitely deserves to be in that conversation.
Shooter I've ever seen. in the discussion for the greatest offensive player I've ever seen. But when I look at the greatest players, I do have to look at the totality of what they do. And I don't know what you...
This is your mistake. We're talking about best player in the game conversation, not greatest player of all time conversation. And I don't even know whether that's even a question, because pretty much mostly, because, you know, there's some people who are either biased. I mean, they're going to have, some of them are just going to have their picks and their opinion, but then there's other ones who are like clearly biased, trying to diminish other great players as to say, you know, who the GOAT is. But we all know, at least I know, it's MJ.
Define Steph as defensively? Average? Average? Maybe slightly below. Maybe slightly below. Because people pick on him and they go after him. Right, and if we're having that GOAT conversation, LeBron James, for much of his career, tremendous.
They pick on him, Nick. Why don't you go pick your nose? You must have a lot of mucus, man, in that big nose of yours, Squidward.
Two-way player. Michael Jordan.
Oh, hold on, real quick. He's not talking about all-time greats. They're talking about the players playing right now. Is he in the conversation for the players playing right now?
He's like, never mind. Yeah.
For best player in the world. Not best player ever.
All right, I thought he was having an
Is he
all-time.
better than Jaylen Brown, man? No.
What kind of disrespect is that?
We're talking about the guys, LeBron, Kawhi, Giannis, Durant, Steph.
Same argument though, to a degree.
Okay, that's where I thought you were going.
I think he's the best in the discussion with his teammate Kevin Durant for being the best offensive player in the game. But Durant might have an edge in recent years because his defense has improved dramatically, getting back to his last couple of years against in Oklahoma City. To Golden State,
I've said this many times before. Kevin Durant started playing elite defense when? I'll wait.
The most valuable player. He is invaluable to that team, both for what he contributes on the floor and the clear inspiration that he brings to that team. They feed off Steph Curry and what he does more than what they feed off Kevin Durant. But
Facts.
again, it's the same argument. You know, Giannis, in addition to being MVP this year,
He might win defensive player.
I think he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. It's going to be really close. He's going to
Possible.
be right there in that top three.
Possible.
I think you have to factor that in. The defensive side of the floor matters.
And I think with Giannis, he's possibly going to win just because of how much Paul George tailed off. And not only did Paul George tail off offensively, but he slightly tailed off defensively. I think a healthy Paul George is definitely Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, who knows? The way the voters might vote, he might still win. But I think Giannis has a chance to win both MVP and Defensive Player of the Year award, and it possibly might happen. Or Rudy Gobert might win it for a second straight year. So don't forget about him in terms of Defensive Player of the Year. As a matter of fact, it's only him, Paul George, and Giannis in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. I'll be a little bit surprised that Paul George will get it just because of the fact that he, like I said, his defense slightly faltered along with his offense after he had sustained, the rotator cuff injury. Rudy Gobert was solid all year, and then Giannis. But I think my Defensive Player of the Year, my heart is saying Giannis Antetokounmpo. My brain is telling me Rudy Gobert.
And Giannis and Kawhi, even Paul George, like they make a massive difference on the other end.
Of course it matters, and I agree with you 1,000%. But what I think for Steph, we got to look at the totality of his impact on offense because he's not going to be able to make that impact on defense. And Steph, more than
You know what's so crazy? It was funny when LeBron stopped playing defense for 5 years and stopped playing in the prime of his career. People always kept saying that LeBron wasn't running for the best player in the game still. But because Steph Curry doesn't play the defense just like LeBron, he can't be in the running for it. I tell you, man, the agenda that the media has is sickening, bro.
any player in the league creates open looks for his teammates that do not show up in the stat sheet. Steph, because of his gravity on the court, because of the way...
Nick is making a great point here. His gravity, his ability to set screens, his ability to stay in constant motion without the ball. Even with KD, he still likes to run. He still likes to run some action. It's just there's at times, as I showed you in the Tim Legler video, ladies and gentlemen, that even when Kevin Durant gets the ball and Curry has the ability to say, hey, we could still run something, KD's like, nah, let me go one-on-one because I think I got the better matchup. At times it works, at times it doesn't. But once again, I'm going to say this again, ladies and gentlemen. Drink this and drink it. Drink it well, man. Just, like I said, favor the taste when I say that Kevin Durant's isolation offense and Steph Curry's motion offense both can be dominant to win a championship because of the construction of their team. But it's different. it looks different and it feels different. Look how the other guys are incorporated right now with Steph, without Kevin Durant. And the media has tried to use that as a sin to Kevin Durant, saying, if they win without you, you need to leave. And I'm going to say it again. Kevin Durant needs to stay, should stay.
He has to be defended when he doesn't have the ball, and how far away from the basket you have to start picking him up. He can create a layup on a play. He never touches the ball, unlike anyone else in basketball. So that, along with the fact that, I mean, since KD's gone down, he's 36, 8, and 7, and they haven't lost, at least puts him in the discussion. And he was in the discussion before KD got there. It was people forget.
But here's the thing that you're missing, Nick. I agree that he was in the discussion because people forget that 2015, 23.8 points per game, 7.7 assists per game, shot 48% from the field, 44% from three, and I believe nearly 90 from the free throw line. He almost had a 50-40-90 in his first MVP season. So people forget about that. And he became an all-star in 2014, but he became a superstar after the 2015 season. He was doing superstar type things in the regular season and in the postseason, right up into the finals, where he struggled in the first two games and then really got it going in the last four. But people also forget that he was having a great playoffs, averaging over 31 a game up until that game 4, where he injured himself and it looked like he suffered a concussion. I forgot what the injury was, but it took him a while to get going again. And he had some really, really struggling games shooting the ball. I really felt like that injury affected him, and it took him some time to get his feet under him. But once he did, Curry played like Curry does. His numbers may not jump out there. He only shoots 45 from the field. Remember, Curry does take more threes, and a lot of times he misses layups because, again, Curry's getting a lot of attention. So that's the reason why.
Up to the moment Draymond Green slapped at LeBron's groin, and the 3 games that followed, the general consensus was that Steph Curry was going to take the title from LeBron, if he had not already, as the best player on the planet. And that LeBron was not going to win another title. And then LeBron had those 3 games, had the 2 years and the 2 postseasons that followed. And up until this year,
Yeah. Revisionist.
it's been a discussion about who's the second best player in the world because nobody was approaching LeBron's level. Now LeBron's not in the postseason. He got
KD trade 5 ring a bell? As a matter of fact, not only did he went up to his level, he exceeded it in the NBA Finals.
hurt for the first time. That title's really up for grabs. KD seemed to be taking it until he got hurt. 39, 5, and 5 in the 8-game stretch. But now he's out. And
Nah, Nick, he took it. He took it. Don't try to be in denial. Like I said, LeBron has had the better overall career than Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant is the best player right now, and he is the best player currently more than LeBron James. That's a fact.
now Steph seems to be taking it, or at least getting himself back into the conversation.
I wonder what
Again, you idiotic fool. He never left. You guys just decided to exclude him and hate on Kevin Durant so much. Now he's taking the blunt of the criticism that all of a sudden Steph Curry is underrated. We don't value and appreciate Steph Curry like we should. Do people remember what happened when Steph Curry lost in 2016 after he blew a 3-run lead? I remember Steph Curry was getting blackballed. People were criticizing him. People were dissing him. People were calling him all sorts of names. It was even to the point some people were even making death threats to his family. And even with the MCL injury that Curry had, and he didn't even look like himself out there, Curry made no excuses after that series. But then you have LeBron James here after 2017, mind you. 2015 comes out, says he's the best player in the world after going down 3-2. He has to tell himself that and tell the media that. 2017, losing 4-1 with your teammate Kyrie Irving averaging 29.4 points per game, comes out and says, super team? Oh, I don't know what a super team is. I've never been on a super team. Yeah, right. Then next year, after getting swept in Game 4 because he was so preoccupied with Game 1, just like his fans and his Lacronis were, guess what? You had overtime of Game 1. You had Games 2, 3, and 4. And what does he do? Comes out with a soft cast with his wife scarves around it and then tries to make excuses, talking about self-inflicted. Well, we're not even talking about dunking the ball on the rim ferociously and dabbing folks in the hand and playing with his right hand. it looked like a bruise. No question about it. But the excuses that these guys make, and it's one thing I say again, I've never met a player like LeBron James who, as great as he is, has gotten so many excuses. And people want to talk about, oh, you hate LeBron, and LeBron haters, and LeBron haters, and LeBron haters. Here's the thing, man. LeBron's love fest from the fans, from his fans, his delusional fans, to the 3-6 Mafia, they kind of balance out his hate with his love. And you know what's really crazy? Instead of people being objective about LeBron James, they give him so many excuses. This is why a lot of people are turning themselves off with LeBron. We should be celebrating his greatness, but the media makes it very difficult for me to want to appreciate what LeBron has done. And on top of that, LeBron continues to want to control the narrative and feed his own ego. That's why I've lost respect for him that I once had. Now, I'm not taking anything away from LeBron. LeBron has accomplished a lot in this game. LeBron is one of the greatest players ever. I only criticize him on the court. Off the court, I got nothing really to say about him. There's no need to. He's been great. This is just basketball. As Kevin Durant said, we're just talking about basketball. And the media makes everything bigger than the game. It's about Kyrie teaming up with KD. KD with his burner accounts. KD going back with Chris Broussard. It doesn't become about basketball. Yes, KD responds to Chris Broussard, but again, it's not even about basketball anymore.
KD would look like, and not only in another uniform, but I wonder if the point guard brings the ball up.
You know what, Chris? I wonder if you're going to bring up how your brother Butch Carter got drafted by the Lakers and played for the Lakers, and it was great, and he played phenomenal, or how you know Kevin Durant because I met him on Twitter in one of his burner accounts. I'm wondering about that because you know everybody.
I put KD on the baseline. I tell
Allegedly.
the other three guys, I want you to set picks for KD to get him open. How many points he gonna score in the NBA game? 60? Because that's what they do for Steph. Now I know Steph brings the ball up. That whole system is designed for him to be able to move without the ball. So I understand what you're saying, impact on the game.
Not just for Steph. Look how the others play with Steph Curry in that offense. Now, people are going to say the bench looks depleted. Look what the bench did in the last 5 games. I mean, that alone will tell you. And even late in the fourth quarter of Game 5 in the semifinals when KD went out, it just shows you that you could plug guys in, next man up, strength in numbers, and they're still able to produce because shooters or non-shooters, Curry still draws attention and he stays moving. So he has the ability to confuse the defense because of his system, because of the team's system. That's what's so major about that.
Of your conversation, that this is one of the rare times we start talking about the best, because we're talking basketball. You can't talk football, offense, defense. You got to talk about both ends of the court. So I'm glad that you include that because there's equal minutes on both sides. And if a guy can make an imprint on a game, that be by passing, shooting, rebounding, then we should include what they do on the defensive end. So for me, Steph should be in the conversation because now with KD being out, this great basketball is being forced out of him.
Once again, Steph Curry always had it. He was never out of the conversation. His offense is forced to hold someone because of the style of play with Kevin Durant. This is why, ladies and gentlemen. This is why. It's always been there. You guys saw when Steph had that breakout 2013 season, and can he follow it up? Makes the All-Star team the next year. Wins a FIBA gold medal in 2014. Wins the MVP back-to-back years, unanimous MVP. I mean, went to the finals 2 years in a row. He's led the Warriors with that great team with Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, those great players, to 2 finals in a row. And people remember this, man. People remember. In that 2016 Western Conference Finals, and I want you to go check out that video of the 2016 Western Conference Finals, KD, his best shooting games was when he took less than 20 shots. When he took more than 20 shots, the Oklahoma City Thunder lost 3 of those 4 games. Let that sink in.
Looking forward to next year because I believe next year is going to be a true test. The first time we've had in 5 years that it will really be up for grabs as far as the best player. Giannis, Kawhi, KD, Steph, and LeBron James. He's going to have a chance to come back to redeem himself. I believe it's one of the most exciting conversations we're going to be able to have leading into next season.
Let's talk about this from the Warriors' perspective. What if it was Steph who got hurt and KD was still in? Do you think that they'd be in the
They're
same
not
place?
5-0. No shot.
Well, I mean, that's pretty telling.
Again,
But that's not KD's fault.
You see how Nick just took a shot? And Chris Carter is actually very right. And Tim Legler has said this. He doesn't blame Kevin Durant, and it's not KD's fault. Again, their style of offenses can work. It's just different for when KD's out, for when Steph is out. It's just different. Or the Warriors move better. They move the ball better. But Kevin Durant still makes the Warriors a very great and dominant team. I'm going to say that again. The Warriors play better and move the ball better and incorporate everybody without KD. KD can be the most effective if he plays within the offense like he did in 2017 when they went to the finals. The Cleveland Cavaliers had such a hard time guarding the Golden State Warriors when Kevin Durant just incorporated himself. Did you know how many games in that series Kevin Durant scored the rock and dominated with less than 20 shots? Think about that, ladies and gentlemen, how he was scoring efficiently with under 20 shots playing with the Golden State Warriors. How the defense overreacts because they're so worried about Curry and Clay to a degree because he does a good job moving without the ball, but Curry stays in constant motion. How they overreact, the defense overreacts for them going to the three-point line, and Kevin goes right to the basket. I'm going to say that again. The defense retreats to the three-point line to go follow Curry and Steph because of the three-point barrage. And what does Kevin Durant do? Right to the damn rim.
This is on the Warriors. Steph's the best guy because he is the most valuable guy. If the Warriors disbanded and every player on the team was up for draft, KD would be picked before Steph for probably every team in the league because KD,
it makes sense only because of the fact that if Steph Curry was playing like this early in his career, like if people knew that he could be able to play like this, like at this high level, because like I said, people thought that Curry was probably going to be a good all-star point guard, maybe just a good serviceable guard. Nobody saw him being a superstar. Not at all. And I said Curry, I was like, man, it's funny. Shout out to my man, RB the Breakthrough. I mean, and even Skip Bayless said it. He thought Curry was the best player in the 09 draft. And he said Curry was a future MVP. RB said Curry was a future MVP and NBA champion. 2 MVPs later, three championship rings later, a possible 4th. And if the chips fall into place, possibly a finals MVP. I don't know. I mean, hell of a career, and he's still in his prime, ladies and gentlemen. 31 years old, about to have 4 rings, finally might get a finals MVP, and he has 2 regular season MVPs. And this is your point guard.
Pretend for a moment Steph went to Oklahoma City instead of KD coming to Golden State. Steph would not have seamlessly fit in Oklahoma City the way KD seamlessly fit in Golden State.
Well, there's a reason for that, Nick, because if you look at Oklahoma City, they're one of the poorest spacing teams in the league. And the coaches that they've had, all they do is ride their starters. They rely on talent. At time, they could show that they could be a dominant defense, but they don't always play it just because a certain someone chooses not to play perimeter defense and was one of the worst players in contested shots. Then on the offensive end, there's poor spacing. There's no ball movement. There's no motion. So nobody's really moving on offense. And one guy decides to just chuck up jump shots like he's a damn alpha. And to this day, he still thinks he's won when he's just a high-octane beta. And you guys know who I'm talking about. And that's no disrespect to the man because the man is a great player. He just hasn't figured out how to play the game yet and how to slow it down. That's his biggest problem.
There is the element that you bring up all the time, that Golden State was built with Steph Curry in mind.
Yes.
All the roster decisions they have made.
Clay can't dribble.
Right.
Clay's going to guard the hardest perimeter guy. So all the other guys are set up to build clear to court, put bodies on Steph's guy. Yes.
Which is just part of the element that is the sacrifice Kevin Durant made when he went to someone else's team. No matter how great I am, it will always be about Steph Curry. And so
That's what you guys weren't saying 2 weeks ago. You were saying that Durant was carrying the Warriors and that Durant was the best player of the world. Now you're saying that it's Steph's team and that he's never going to get the recognition that Steph gets?
do not think, and the numbers are undeniable on this, the Warriors win 60% of the time when KD's in and Steph is out, and they win 90% of the time when Steph is in and KD is out, because everyone else knows what their role is with Steph out there. But when he's out of there, all of their roles change dramatically.
Good point.
Because the entire team changes with that. They're used to playing that
they don't have ball handlers.
When Kevin Durant is playing without Steph Curry, Steve Curry even admitted this in the last series, it's a style of basketball that they're not used to playing. It becomes isolation heavy. It goes back to almost
Steve Kerr is the one that also goes to Durant and said, I need you to take 20 to 30 shots a game. Because Steve Kerr was riding with that offense, if you guys remember. They really thought that they were going to survive with that style of offense going deep into the playoffs. And when KD went down, it was next man up. So they made the adjustment. And look where the Warriors are right now in the finals.
Mark Jackson days with the way they played isolation-heavy offense. Now, just to
Thank you, sir. And people fail to mention that. That's what I was talking about with Mark Jackson. The guy is a great coach. He set a foundation for the Golden State Warriors. He changed the culture in terms of how to play on both ends of the floor. But his offense is very stagnant. That's what I've said. He tried to make Curry into a traditional point guard. And Curry had his best season up until that point where he averaged 47% from 41 from three. And I believe it was close to 90 at the free throw line on 24.5 points and 8.5 assists. Like, Curry was a damn near double-double that year.
Up the conversation about the best player. Steph is capable of doing what he did against Portland, changing it offensively, doing unbelievable things. But what Kawhi did, and he's not in that conversation this year, but what Kawhi did in this Milwaukee series, Game 3, taking on the assignment of Giannis, doing a tremendous job at Game 3. What did Giannis have? 12 points in Game 3. Kawhi has changed the course of this series defensively by what he was able to do. And Steph doesn't have that aspect.
But here's the thing, and you're 100% right.
You are comparing a 6'7", 6'8" small forward to a 6'3" point guard.
Durant's a good defender. LeBron, not anymore, hasn't shown it, but LeBron in his prime was a great defender. Nobody is at the level that Kawhi is at on that end of the court that we have seen in this league since Scottie Pippen. So the ability to...
What do you think, Chat? It's so crazy to me that Scottie Pippen never won a Defensive Player of the Year award, and he's a 7-time first-team All-NBA defender. That's crazy. Is Kawhi Leonard the modern-day Scottie Pippen? Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Eliminate a superstar almost always doesn't actually exist in the NBA. That's why when you look at the all defensive teams, those 10 names, only 3 of them made an all-star team. Because we don't weigh equally your defensive contribution, your offensive contribution, because it's really about 70-30 offense, defense, as far as your values of play.
So, ladies and gentlemen, basically the bottom line is you've heard all the videos. I'm going to put them all together, and let me know what you guys think of the video, man. As always, is Steph Curry in the conversation for best player? Did he just enter, or did he enter first, leave, and then come back, or he never left? You already know what I said in the video, but let me know what you guys think, man. As always, I appreciate you guys always. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share this video. Bless up, one love. Peace. Thanks for watching.